Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. So, kind of a slow news weekend in the world of professional wrestling, but I go to social media and sometimes I see some of the dumbest shit on the internet, and people get mad at me because, hey, I go after, certain people, like, certain random social media accounts that, are grifters. But this one comes from an acting professional wrestler on what I consider to be one of the great tag teams working today. But it proposed a question. So early on Sunday, um, actually very early on Sunday, the account Wrestling Banana tweeted the following in response to Jay White and Juice Robinson. Somebody saying, "Hey, the AEW tag division needs them." So Wrestling Banana, Wrestle Banana on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, said WWE will never be forgiven for making fans believe that the tag team division is mid card. That's also, first of all, a very interesting thought. And I'll revisit that in a second. Dax Harwood, Dax the Axe from FTR. By the way, what the fuck have they done since turning heel at Dynasty? Dax quote retweets this and basically says the following: This, for years, tag team wrestling was top of the card. Then one man decided he hated it. Fans eventually accepted it because there was really no other choice. The excuse, I have to pay twice as much, is bullshit. Cash and I worked over 180 matches 1 year, more than any other wrestler, and we're still the lowest paid wrestlers on the roster. Even if you doubled our pay, we were the lowest. The wrestlers as well bought into this belief. They became selfish and wanted to hit all my moves. Hit, quote, all my moves. Tag team wrestling can be the single most exciting part of the show. With the most story involved, it just takes a little bit of creativity. Okay. There's a lot there because what the fuck have FTR done since their last world tag team title run back in, I think it was 2023. They had a match with the Young Bucks at All In, the first one there. It was a great match. They've had a couple of great matches. They lost to Ricky Starks and Big Bill, a put together tag team. One of those guys isn't even in AEW anymore. That tag division has become an unmitigated disaster in AEW. So for Dax to say that, when looking at his company and considering how they have treated tag team wrestling, when 6 years ago, they were thought to be like the beacon of light for tag team wrestling. They had Proud and Powerful. They had SCU. They had Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. They had the Young Bucks. They had the Lucha Brothers. And you look at what's going on right now in WWE, what's going to eventually happen. First of all, the SmackDown tag team division is exceptional. We can debate it till we're blue in the face how much of a disaster that was on SmackDown with, the Wyatt Six, Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. It's not a good tag team. They hadn't wrestled in 6 months. And, it's unfortunate what happened, and it made the Motor City Machine Guns look really bad. But the Motor City Machine Guns got there. DIY has been really good as a heel team. Pretty Deadly has gotten opportunities there. The Street Profits have been on a career resurgence, and they're the tag team champions right now. I mean, the New Day, their heel gimmick isn't working, but, at least the New Day are being thought of as, the top of the tag team division. War Raiders on Raw. Like, the Raw tag team division isn't good, but here's what's going to happen. The Lucha Brothers are going to get back together. Ray Phoenix and Penta at some point are going to get back together. The draft, I think, is sometime around SummerSlam, or it's sometime towards like the end of the year. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. The Usos are going to get back together. They're already hinting at Usos New Day again. So for Dax to basically say this and basically say, look, Vince McMahon did not think a ton of tag team wrestling, but also this is the same guy who put Edge and Christian, who are both now in AEW, the Dudleys and the Hardys in the ring at WrestleMania 17 and put together one of the greatest tag team matches of all time. Okay? Like, let's not act like WWE actively hates tag team wrestling. They just haven't treated it as a main event thing for a long time. But here's the funny thing about what Dax is saying. You want to know what happened 2 years ago? I was there for it. The tag team titles main evented WrestleMania. Yes, the tag team titles main evented WrestleMania. The Usos defended against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. One of the great matches ever in WrestleMania history. And I think on record, that might have been the first time that the tag team titles had ever been defended in the main event of WrestleMania. So you can't really say with a straight face now that WWE doesn't care about tag team wrestling. They had struggled with it for a while, but that SmackDown tag team division is unbelievable. They put together one of the greatest TLC matches on free television that we've ever seen back right after WrestleMania. It should have been on WrestleMania, but whatever. The Raw tag team division still needs a bunch of work. But the Usos could potentially be back together at some point this year. The Lucha Brothers could be back at some point this year. Private Party, it sounds like WWE is interested in them. So what it leads me to this conclusion. Dax and Cash made the wrong decision. They had a chance 2 years ago when their contracts were up to choose whether or not they wanted to stay in AEW or go to WWE. They felt they had more power and more control over their creative and doing whatever they wanted to do. By the way, Dax hid an injury from Tony Khan. Remember that. That was ridiculous. They wanted that. And, what have they gotten since they re-signed? Hey, they got one tag team title run. They beat the Guns. Good for them. And, since then, they haven't held the tag team titles in 2 years. And they're not even remotely close to them right now. The Hurt Syndicate, as much as I like those guys, they don't need the tag team titles. And for some reason, they are the tag team champions. And everybody was talking about, oh, yeah, that's such a great moment. And honestly, one of the Dynasty was a bad pay-per-view. But Dax and Cash turning on Adam Copeland was a really good moment. They have done absolutely, positively nothing since the initial moments of them fighting with Daniel Garcia and, bloodying 2.0. Ever since then, they're fighting with luchadors. They're fighting with luchadors. And you're united with Stokely. These guys didn't need a mouthpiece. I like Stokely. They didn't need a mouthpiece. And the match that seemingly everybody thought was going to happen at All In, Christian's still a heel. Adam Copeland hasn't come back. So we're not going to get that at All In. We'll probably get it at All Out because All Out is going to be in Toronto, and that's going to be the point where we do it. But what? So this guy's saying that WWE actively doesn't care about tag team wrestling. They didn't for a long time. But I find these comments that he's making them now, considering where tag team wrestling is in WWE. They just brought up Fraxium, which is a fucking phenomenal team. And then, like I said, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso are going to reunite. Penta and Rey Fenix are going to reunite. You've got a bunch of other lower card tag teams that are there too. They're developing tag teams in NXT. And then, Private Party is either going to, they're either going to end up in TNA or they're going to end up in WWE. And it sounds like WWE's got some interest in them. So I like Dax, man. Like, he's got a good mind to wrestling, but it's just like sometimes he says some really dumb shit on the internet. And I don't understand what he was trying to gain here and really just trying to say, tweeting a wrestling parody account, Wrestle Banana, and basically saying, yeah, I've been saying this for years. Like, the tag team, that WWE doesn't prioritize tag team division. Dude, what the fuck has AEW done for tag team wrestling in the last 2 years? The fuck have they done? When's the last time AEW had a tag team match and main event a pay-per-view? WWE had it main event WrestleMania. It's been up and down SmackDown. They had a TLC match on SmackDown, a main event that went like 30 fucking minutes. What this tells me is Dax and Cash made the wrong decision. They made the wrong decision. Some of it's a case of timing because 2 years ago, there was no way to predict that WWE Tag Team Wrestling would get this good. Because it was right around the time of right before WrestleMania when they re-signed. It was right before WrestleMania 39 when they re-signed, okay? And they were underappreciated, no question. I thought FTR should, when they were the Revival, I thought they should have been pushed a lot more when they were under Vince McMahon. But Vince McMahon just did not prioritize tag team wrestling. But if you're going to honestly look at me dead in the face and tell me that, Tony Khan has got your best interest when it comes to tag team wrestling, when he's got you feuding with luchadors and you just turn on one of your best friends and nothing has been capitalized off of that, what the fuck are we doing, man? What the fuck are we talking about? I like these guys, man, but sometimes, AEW people say some really dumb shit on the internet. You can't convince me that Dax and Cash aren't at least thinking in their brains, basically saying, because what is that saying to me? It's like, okay, you're mad at the way tag team wrestling is perceived. You don't. I know who you were talking about. I didn't like the way Vince McMahon booked tag team wrestling, but dude, look at your boss. Look at your boss. What the fuck has he done for tag team wrestling when you had a loaded tag team division 6 years ago, 5 years ago when you guys joined up with it, had your dream matches with the Young Bucks. You had a great tag team in the Acclaim that you broke up for no reason whatsoever and have not capitalized on that breakup at all. Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee hasn't been on television since that team broke up. This isn't just a WWE thing, but WWE is doing things to rectify their tag team division. They've had main events on big shows with tag team wrestling. Like, come on. Be better, Dax. Come on. I love you, man, but you've got to be better and stop shilling out for your boss. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.